We're also very close, talking to our Alliance Bank, our banker for the center. They're supposed to give us final approval for building 3 on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we're sitting on the permit, ready to pull it. As soon as we get approval, we'll go ahead and pull the permit and sit down with Nathan Gonzalez and kind of have a pre-con meeting. And I'd like to be under construction in March.
Is that going to be very similar to, I think it was maybe a year ago now, where we saw the presentation of restaurant on the corner with shops to what would be, I guess, the west side of that?
Yeah, so the design hasn't changed. We do have a little an LOI out with Boss Burgers. It's a little burger chain that's currently in Arlington. They're going to take about 1,900 square feet in the middle of the building. We're also talking with the upsizing the Chic Spot Event Center that's currently in building 6. They're needing more room, so we're talking about maybe double them in size. And then we've got good prospects for the balance of it. We don't have a good prospect for the 5,000 foot sit down restaurant. So I was hoping maybe CP2 was going to be here to maybe coordinate with them on finding us a nice, Mexican restaurant or some sit down restaurant with a bar and outdoor patio. That would set that building off.
Yeah, I mean, in their notes here, it says they've identified targets for that restaurant location. So
yeah,
hopefully that's the case. I have just a kind of off-topic question, and I'd mentioned it earlier to Daryl. So the dumpsters that are there by Thrive Coffee,
yes,
visible from the road. Number one, that's obviously that's not ideal.
yeah.
Number two, it blocks Thrive Coffee from being seen if you're coming from 287, which most of the traffic is coming from the 287 area.
Right.
What would it look like to possibly, is it possible, with the other construction ongoing with this new building number 3, to possibly move those so that number one, Thrive would be more visible? It would really make the town square look better if those aren't visible from the street, and increase parking right there.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where we'd move it to.
That's the question. That's why I'm asking you where, I mean, it can be done, but is it feasible?
We kind of inherited that design when we bought into the Kennedale Town Center back in 2015. We have talked about maybe putting a mural on it or, some kind of, advertisement or, maybe something, to help promote Kennedale Town Center. That would kind of keep that from being an eyesore. I'm just not sure where we would have room. That's a little pinch point. That's a tough parking area. Parking is in short, supply over there.
Mm-hmm.
You've got all those businesses all kind of fighting over the same parking.
I think to Tyson's point though, because I went by there, I couldn't find it at first.
What was that, sir?
I went by Thrive and I couldn't find it at first.
Yeah,
because it's in that odd corner. There's not great signage kind of saying they're here. Yeah. So if we would hypothetically, we took the dumpsters out, took the wall down so that it was more visible from the road, the impact then being all those businesses have to haul their trash farther away, right? That's the trade-off. Have we talked to them about that? Or have
we haven't really talked about moving it. We have talked about enhancing the look of it with a mural or something along those lines. Kennedale Town Center logo. And, the problem is if Thrive advertises on it, everybody else is going to, maybe.
Is that the worst thing? We want them to survive. We want them to thrive.
Yeah, no,
if we let them advertise on it or as part of the lease, they get signage that fronts 287 on the backside of it.
Yeah.
So there's no sign for them on the building itself.
Pardon me?
There's no sign on the building that's facing out to the parkway.
They have the right to put signage up there.
Okay.
I need to talk with Patrick and maybe encourage him to to go ahead and do something like that to get more advertising.
Yeah, I mean, that's something he wants to do. And so I would encourage you to, I mean, it can be done.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to help get it done, but those things can be moved. There's grass areas around. Yes, it's a pain. You got to move trash. But if you're a business owner, like the small business owners around here, do you want to haul trash or you want to survive as a business?
I mean,
Right.
I'd
So
certainly be open to
that's
looking at,
that's where I'm at, and I don't know what everyone else feels about it, but
Isn't there a trash can next to the antique mall, right across the street?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, one thing you're gonna have to look at too, all the power runs inside those two.
Oh,
So
that's
each,
right. Yeah,
each
yeah.
one has
Oh, my
breakers and
God.
meters and everything in there.
You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. That's a $200,000 movement. Every
Just the
one of those
just the electricity.
all the meters are inside that wall. I completely forgot about that. That's,
Hmm.
thank you for reminding me. That's $250,000. And it would disrupt every business out there. That's where all the feed goes and all the main meters that feeds every store on both buildings.
So I haven't spoken to Thrive about this from a signage standpoint, but I'm glad Mr. Eubanks brought it up. But I'm sure putting a sign on the building over their door is more expensive than having something put on the backside of something that's on ground level. So if we were to make that open that up to them as a possibility,
Yeah.
and if there's power there, you can almost light it and have a sign pointing one way for them and one way for what's on the other side of the way there. It's not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, a lit signage on the building's $3,000 to $5,000.
Is that okay?
So it's not, it's
For a small
expensive,
business,
but
that
not-
might be too much though.
yeah, but if it helps it survive, I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, I really think that it would be better for visually if we allowed them to use the wall that's there in some aspect
Mm-hmm.
to put something up, and we get the benefit as a city to not look at dumpsters,
Right.
and they get the benefit of advertisement.
Yeah.
It's just something that's been there that everyone kind of says it can't get done. We can't do it. We this, and the businesses have struggled in that corner, period.
Yeah.
They just have. Maybe for numerous reasons, but I would like to help them if we can,
I'm totally on board.
and it makes your life easier because there's not a lot of turnover. Right.
Yeah,
So-
and we could do something kind of as a compromise to put maybe the city of Kennedale Town Center logo with, their advertisement and maybe 3 or 4 of the tenants, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know what that process looks like. If that's something you come back to us with a design, if you talk to the business owner.
Yeah, I think we can,
I'd really like to not look at those dumpsters. I know they would like advertisement. So somewhere a happy medium, if we can't move the dumpsters,
Yeah.
which you're right. If it's that expensive, it's
yeah,
not
we can move
possible.
the dumpsters. Now, I would even thinking, given that all the disconnection, that
Yeah.
would be a monumental
So if
task.
our only option is to maybe
Enhance
put
it with,
signage,
yeah,
I would encourage you and maybe send it over to Daryl and he can share
Yeah.
with us. I would love to see something there.
yeah. No, I'd agree. Give me 30 days and I'll be back.
Yeah.
With some
Well, can you
recommendations.
go ahead and get a bid to move the electrical?
Chief, that would, I'd completely forgot about that. I mean, it's all the underground piping. You would shut down those businesses for 30 days probably or more.
Can we get a bid?
Sure.
Well, and the reason why I'm saying that, if it's that big of a concern, we're not talking about a problem today. We're talking a problem for the next 20, 30 years.
Right.
So if it is that kind of demand or that type of problem, we need to fix it. So I'd rather just get a bid and tell us how much it's going to cost besides us guessing. And then let's see what we can do to correct what that is.
There may be a way to consolidate, move that back onto the grassy area and move the dumpsters, but kind of keep it in that same general area.
Yeah, I think there's a way for us to do it that could be manageable.
But
Way
I
wanted
would
to
love
do
to
it a
get,
long Time ago was to fill in the stupid loading dock that never gets used. Turn that loading dock into dumpster use. Of course, the loading dock is on our building. And it's our responsibility.
Well,
Nobody wants to spend that kind of money.
in 2030 is his responsibility.
Yeah,
But my point, let's go and get a bid and let's find out what it is.
Yep.
Because it's not just that location. We have several of them that are having the same issue.
right.
To the point, I mean, even for the YMCA building, we have one literally that's right there.
Right.
It could be something that we move that dumpster and we literally just move the electrical 3 feet. And I understand it's complicated. I'm not indicating it's not.
Right.
But moving something 3 feet opens up tremendous space
It'd probably
and
open up.
capabilities. And I look at it, this one as being the same thing.
Yeah.
It could be that we come in and be able to put a drive-through attachment somewhere or another to that building.
Well, I think what it would do is add 4 more spots, which every spot's very valuable in that area.
Especially if you're going to add a restaurant,
Yep.
and they're going to need all the parking they can get.
My issue's always been the parking or the fear of that door swinging out and hitting the car.
Correct.
Which is pretty close. And I've seen it swing, which is the fear. But it's always, if you try to get into that front spot on either side, it's a kind of a finagle, especially
Mhm.
during trash time to get around all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do think that it's worth at least seeing a bid, and
Yeah.
maybe it's not right for us, but I'd love to see, to Daryl's point, at least let's see what it looks like. Let's look at the numbers and get with John and see what we can afford to do. Yeah.
You know,
go from
most, it's most of the disconnects and all the meters are on that back wall. It's a
Yeah.
3-sided. There's some here, maybe there's a way to retain that wall and put some bollards or something and screen it.
That's what I'm thinking, because I'm just looking at the map of it. I'm sure the meters are on one side or the other of that wall. It's probably not running the backside because they'd be worried about the dump sliding back into them at some point, right?
No.
They've
The
got
whole
bollards. They've
back
got bollards
wall?
there's bollards to stop them.
It depends which one you're looking at.
one-
The
the
one
quick
over there,
run.
the whole back wall has all the 240 running to it.
Yeah.
So, and it runs from one corner to the other corner. The
It
one
actually
by
wraps
Subway,
around. It actually wraps around.
right, the one by Subway is the same way. It's on the back wall, then it wraps around. The one behind the section house, the yellow house, it's just on one wall, but I don't think a lot of the power is actually pulled through that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the biggest cost. And then my question is when you start working on building 3, maybe that's something we need to figure out how to phase out, because that's going to be the same thing.
We're not
that they're
doing it
gonna
on,
do.
we're not doing it on building 3. That is a terrible design. Mark.
Right, okay. Because I know all the conduits already ran over there to that corner.
They
So
did.
it looks like they're going to
Yeah.
try to do the same concept.
Yeah. Now that we have control of the design, Dollar General's doesn't have that same issue, and neither will building 3.
Yeah, and I apologize for harping on this, everybody, but it's just something that I think's been an eyesore for a long time, and it's something we need to address. If we can't afford it, so be it. But you're already about to shut down a lot of Town Square with Building 3. You're already going to be, well, not a lot of it, but there's going to be construction. There's going to be disruption. So while there's disruption, let's go ahead and fix the other issues if possible, and then be done with it. Everybody's happy. Businesses hopefully are more successful. And that's kind of how I view it.
Yeah. No, I've always hated that dumpster situation. So.
Yeah, and I don't mean this towards you. I'm just trying to find a
Right. Now, let's get some smart people to look at it, see what our options are.
Yeah.
We're and aside from that, we're 100% leased. Other than the Dickey's barbecue, we had 5 people fighting over it, and then I was kind of trying to pick and choose, and then now no one's calling us back. So it's kind of feast or famine there, but there's a lot of interest. 2nd generation restaurants, that's pretty high demand.
Can you share your vision with the food truck? That's something that we've been talking about for months.
Yeah. My partner, Mark, just kind of jumped off and did that. I was actually coming over here checking on Dollar General construction. I saw some people out there doing something. I stopped and asked what he was doing. He said, yeah, Mark said, we're going to do a food truck here. I'm like, okay. And he was pulling electrical and some other things. And I was, it's like, well, you kind of need permit for that.
Yeah,
Well, we'll get with Nathan and figure that out. Yeah, that's, that is, we were, Nathan asked, can we pave some of that? That's one of the buildings where we're obligated to build a building per our agreement with you all, KDDC. And I was okay to do that for a year or two. And while we get Dollar General finished at building 3, but at some point we need to build a building to fulfill our contractual obligations. So unless we, call a true, food truck area, satisfaction of one of the buildings, we, at some point I need to clear that off and build a building. That's kind of designed for a fast food with a drive-through. It's a little 2,000 footer, single tenant standalone building is what that site would accommodate.
yeah, our idea was to, there's been a need for a food
Yeah.
truck
I-
for it.
Yeah,
We talked about it for well over a year.
yeah,
To be able to put something there. I prefer to see concrete. Concrete is not necessarily the only product we can use.
right,
You can use the crushed granite concept
yeah,
for that.
Yeah.
So if your intent is not to invest that much into it currently,
right.
there's other options. We just need to make sure we get with
Yeah.
Nathan and find out
That's-
what.
Yeah, if we, I like the design that he or somebody sent us through the email. I think you were
Yeah.
copied, where you could put 4 food trucks there and have kind of an interior little park area. If we just came in crushed granite underneath those 4 trucks, that wouldn't be too, it's 20 or 30 grand maybe. That would be something that, would make sense.
Thanks.
And then that'd be kind of a caretaker for a year or two until we're ready to build something on it. And then we'd have to, move on.
And I do believe we have some food trucks that have an interest.
Good. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I got a call from Thrive Coffee. It was encouraged that we're doing that. He thinks that's going to help his business.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so,
more traffic helps everybody.
thanks, Craig.
And then on this one document, our loan renewal. It'll be on the 7th. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Well, since we don't have any CP2 consultants today, did they leave you any memos or anything?
I did. I talked to them earlier today. Unfortunately, both of them ended up getting tied up and unable to make it tonight. As you can tell, attached to the agenda was their update as a whole. They did attend the real estate development last month, but yeah, so they indicated it was a great conference for them to go to. And they indicated they got anywhere from 5 to 8 restaurants that do have an interest in coming here. One of the things that we're trying to do is get all of our demographics together, get a package together to share with them of what we have to offer, what's going on. We have one of them that's wanting anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000 square feet. So that might, they'll be here tomorrow as well. So I'll get more information for you and we'll share it. But that we do have several restaurants that have an interest in coming in. They're just asking for information and we're trying to make sure we get that information to them to make the best decision possible. They've also visited the city quite a bit this last month. We're trying to identify all property that's for sale for the city or individual for whatever the reasons for. So we do have that list put together. We're sharing it with all their contacts. They have also took that information to the conference itself to identify what the needs are, what we have that's available, which is we're getting some good positive feedback, which is good. We also have some leadway that we have done with the Chamber of Commerce. CP2 has come in and rewrote our bylaws. So our bylaws have been rewritten and we're actually following them now. So there's a lot of good positive things that we've done on that side as well. We have a board meeting tomorrow where we'll start picking new president, vice president, treasurer, and actually following the bylaws and getting the chamber moving forward to help the EDC continue to partner with our businesses that we have here. And I think it's very important for us to be able to do that. CP2 is doing a great job and helping out tremendously on both areas, the chamber and our economics as a whole, of just putting things together and being able to share it with their contacts. And I think it's been a great partnership so far. Okay.
What would a 6,000 square foot restaurant, what would the restaurant that I would know, what would it be a 6,000 square foot restaurant? Is that with like a Spring Creek barbecue is like 6,000?
We have a 1,200-foot outdoor patio. That's part of the 5,000 feet. So the restaurant itself, the interior restaurant itself is 3,600, 3,700. And then we've got an outdoor seating area for another 1,200. So, and that's pretty typical for a smaller restaurant. I'm just not sure if you had a 5 or 6, depending on who it is, maybe a brass tap. They tend to be a little bit bigger.
That's one of them.
Yeah. I've been chasing those guys.
Yeah.
For a while.
Is there an option to convert the patio to indoor? Because as we all know in Texas, there's only about 2 weeks a year that are comfortable for sitting outside. I mean, come July and August, it's just gonna be miserable.
Well, it would be covered, so it'd be out of the direct sun, and they would have.
Sure, you can put all the fans and misters out there as you want. It's,
It's
also,
all-
but
July and August is going to be tough.
yeah, but could it be converted to indoor, or is the design truly it's going to have 1,000 feet of outdoor space?
We can make the building larger. I think that's, these restaurants, whether they use it or not, it's just like when you build apartments. I did develop apartments for 3 years. Everybody has to have a balcony and no one uses them. But if you don't have a balcony, you're not going to lease that apartment. It looks good. It's kind of a cool concept, but no one ever uses the balcony.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of that. I think these, 10 months of the year, it'd be, in the wintertime, you could easily heat it. It's going to be a couple of months that you're not going to use that patio. But I mean, most of the restaurants out there, the restaurant I had lunch at today had people out on the patio.
That's the 2 weeks he's talking about.
Yeah, July and August, I mean,
I think there's a lot of options that you can make it indoor and outdoor.
yeah.
A lot of them are being built now with like the garage door concept
Yep.
where you still have your pillars. Then, obviously if it's cold outside, you close it. Or if it's nice, you open it.
Yep. We're doing that exact same thing in Solana. It's a rustic kind of, we have 6 garage doors that we can open up when it's nice.
What about those misters that, they use a lot in
Oh, yeah.
Arizona and New Mexico?
Oh, yeah, they'll definitely, pretty much everybody that has an outdoor patio is going to have unit heaters and misters.
Okay.
But yeah, we can, if it needs to be 6,000 feet, we can make that happen.
Okay.
Daryl, I got a question for you. Can you share with us some of the ideas that CP2, some of the ideas that you like that they're talking about that we haven't been privy to just yet?
Well, there's been a lot of movement currently just with the Chamber of Commerce of trying to get better organized of where we wanted to go. Not just for the chamber, but the EDC as well. How do we partner together? How do we bring our resources together and implement both of them? And that's one of the biggest things they're doing now is helping get organized in that concept of it. And it's working. The other side of they're helping on as well, to build the EDC website. in conjunction also with the Chamber of Commerce as well, is one, if you're going somewhere, the first place you generally go look is Chamber of Commerce. What does the city have to offer? What's there? What can we go do? What can we eat? Blah, blah, blah. So we're trying to generate and get that up and running. The EDC side of it, we're wanting to put all of our industrial, our commercial, our retail establishments and be able to showcase, hey, this is what's within the city itself for other developers to come in and want to partner with them, or vice versa, or just having land. We have a lot of land available. So we're doing a commercial for the city of Kennedale as a whole, the EDC, to showcase exactly what do we have to offer. So there's a lot of movements all the way around, and they're slowly starting to come together and just brainstorming, putting things together, and hopefully we'll be able to come and have a product for you guys to see here very soon.
Any ideas on the land that was purchased in 2024 that we approved the purchase for? It was 2 lots, I believe, that we purchased in 2024.
Well, we've we purchased 2.
Right.
So we had, both of them are at the railroad.
Right.
One is in Oak Crest. That property has been leased out to South Point, which
Right,
was approved
right.
by you guys. The property that's on the south side of town is off of Eden Road. It's still there. It's being cleaned. No vagrants, no homeless, no encampments or anything like that. It's very clean and very presentable, which was the intent.
Now, you mentioned the website
Mhm.
that you're developing. Is that going to be require a new position, a web master, or?
No, it's not. So Elizabeth Partridge, our librarian.
Okay.
She's over our communications,
Okay.
which is through the city, and the EDC pays for a portion of that as well. But it will be through our current staffing. It's a slow process, but we've made quite a bit of strides.
No more questions? Do we need an executive session, sir? Go ahead.
Has there been any more movement on some of the salvage yards? Getting some of those cleaned up or, gone?
Well, I've been in contact with just about every one of them on Kennedale Parkway of some sort of either concept of redevelopment in the sense of, what is your plan? What's your vision for the future? That has been taking place. Also the concept of cleaning up the parkway, either by some of the grant opportunities that we offer to business owners, or the concept of just cleaning, trimming the trees, things of that nature. All that's is in progress as well.
At one point, they were all on SUPs where they had a certain amount of time to recoup their investment, and then they were going to be denied the use. Is that
Yeah,
still
all
part of
that's in place.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that would help Town Center and everybody else.
There's always legal that goes along with it, but the overall answer is yes.
Oh, great, thanks.
Yeah.
With nothing further, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
You have a second?
I will second it.
All in favor? Unanimous as always. Nobody won't argue about going home.